Hi there. So we're going to be looking at passengers. So right out of the gate, we can see that there's a coin exchange, right? Jim, a masculine, muscular, foundational archetype, swipes for basic rations and gets pinged for it. Cheap, bronze, utility tier. Meanwhile, Aurora sachets in with gold tier access, like she's on a royal cruise. No explanation, no meritocracy, no equivalence. This is not just class, it's symbolic gender casting in full effect. Bronze equals the builder class. Jim is the literal builder of civilizations. If this were a post-apocalyptic reboot, he's the man wiring water lines and replanting fields. Gold equals the entitled class. Aurora is not a queen. She's a writer, a dreamer. She builds nothing. And yet, her coin unlocks the kingdom. In Redpill terms, value is inverted. The producer must work, beg, and serve. The consumer floats on legacy, access, and looks. The coin colour mirrors our own real-world gender economy. Men build, fix, die, sacrifice, and get social copper. Women write columns, talk emotions, and gain cultural gold. In the simulated economy of passengers, this isn't an accident. It's predictive programming dressed as romance. Privilege without contribution. And ask yourself, when the system fails, who has the skills to keep the lights on? The gender value inversion. He's 9 to 5, mechanical, mastery. She's a 6 to 5 with a blog. Jim is in the 1%, handsome, physically fit, blue-collar elite with white-collar brain, hyper-competent, can fix a space station, probably can wield a suspension bridge and hunt his own food. Aurora is, let's be honest, a soft 7, boosted to 8 by Hollywood makeup and lighting. She's a writer, a think piece class, no husband, no kids, no roots, and yet the entire plot treats her as the prize. This is Inversion 101. In reality, any midwit with a functioning womb would see Jim and pounce. In a frontier scenario, let alone deep space, the man who can build civilization is worth more than 10,000 columnists. That's genetic survival. That's selection. But in this film, Jim is shown as unworthy to be in her orbit. She has to forgive him for waking her up. His competence and suffering are background noise to her feelings. Even his heroic act, dying to save her, is barely enough to win her affection. This is female fantasy projected through a gynocentric lens. He must earn her love while she is owed his. A red pill lens reveals the madness. The female is unburdened by age, fertility, or even survival metrics. The male, he's burdened by everything. He must court, confess, apologize, repair, protect, and die. And let's not forget, had Jim not awoken her, she'd have died on ice. He saved her life. Survival dynamics. One man, one woman. Who do you want it to be? Let's red pill the thought experiment. Imagine you're on a colony ship headed to rebuild human society. 5,000 people in hibernation. You wake up early by accident or design and you're alone. If you're a woman, you're screwed. Emotionally unstable, no mechanical skills, zero survival aptitude. You might last a few weeks on stocked rations until the recycling unit breaks. If you're a man like Jim, you become a one-man base of operations. You fix, adapt, hunt, and eventually terraform. The colony has a shot. But Passengers doesn't explore this natural asymmetry. It flips it. Her loneliness is dramatic. His loneliness is selfish. She punches him. Of course. Oh yeah, the woman's allowed to punch the men in films. She resents him. She plays victim. For what? For not letting her die? In a real world colony reset, Jim is the seed stock of humanity's survival. Aurora, if she chooses to participate, becomes part of a new generational node. But her feelings about choice override his literal survival engineering. This is peak modernity. Female emotion, male reality. In truth, when it's one man and one woman and the stakes are survival, the equation becomes brutally honest. The man becomes protector, provider, pioneer. The woman becomes nurturer, supporter, mother. But Passengers tries to run feminism on a desert island. That system collapses in 2 days. Psychological gating. Let's break the inversion wall wide open. Jim confesses he woke her. The audience is supposed to gasp. How could he? But zoom out. He spent a year in solitary madness. He was on the brink of suicide. He chose companionship over self-deletion. And Aurora, she makes his psychological torment all about her feelings. She treats his agony as betrayal. This is the real commentary. Modern society grants women monopoly over emotional harm. Her betrayal equals complex trauma. His betrayal equals toxic impulse. Her emotions equals valid. His actions equals wrong. And yet, who dies in the end? Who risks everything to save the ship? Jim. She never apologizes for her cruelty. Never thanks him for saving her. Never acknowledges that he gave her a second life. Twice. She does eventually fall for him, but only after he's emotionally eviscerated, physically sacrificed, and near dead. That's the cost of male redemption in the feminine coded dream. In red pill terms, men are only loved conditionally. Women are loved for being. The feminist illusion. They live a life together, alone in paradise. But who built the paradise? Final act. Jim finds a way to put Aurora back into hibernation. Gives her the choice to return to the dream of real life. To resume her golden ticket journey. This is what breaks the simulation. The illusion of female choice is finally exposed for what it is. A LARP. A LARP. A fantasy overlay. Without Jim, she dies alone. Without Jim, there is no garden. Without Jim, the ship dies. And Aurora chooses to stay. But by this point, it's a poisoned victory. The entire arc has taught us men must earn the right to survive. women must be granted the illusion of agency, and romance is built on the bones of male labour. The feminist programming here is subtle. Aurora's choice is worshipped, but Jim never had one. He was forced into awakening, into action, into love, and into death. His life is not his own. He exists for the story of her emotional growth. Redpill lens reveals the deeper horror. The ship is a metaphor for civilization itself, a vessel kept functional by invisible male sacrifice. While women stroll the gardens, they didn't build. Conclusion. Passengers is not a love story. It's a simulation chamber exposing the current inversion of masculine value and feminine privilege. The engineer is worth nothing until he dies. The writer is valuable from moment one. The man saves the world and is judged. The woman is offended by survival and never questioned. And the coins, copper and gold, are the eternal talismans of the system. She enters the Garden of Eden wearing gold. He built it with blood, sweat and madness, and is lucky to be forgiven for it. That's the punchline. The masculine is devalued, the feminine deified, and the movie smiles gently while it encodes this spiritual fraud in a pretty romance.